me over to Saturday, I'd be the only one there. So I sent him back, and then we got the date right. I sure do thank you for having me. And I got to pull double duty this morning. I got to speak at Patton, and then I run out the door and run over here. So I kind of warmed up on them, and I'm going to unload on y'all now. But it is a privilege to get to come over here, but it's a privilege anytime you get to speak for yourself. Because he done everything for me, and he asked so little from me. So, this morning I want to read to you, if you might want to get your Bible out, read along with me, Matthew chapter 27. But while you're flipping through the pages, I'm going to give you a quick test from last week. All right, I know, test sucks. But here you're using pie system. He is risen.
He is risen indeed.
All right, he is pie system.
I was going to say, last week?
Yeah, all of last Sunday. In these passages, though, I want to go back and let's look what I like to call the miracle at the cross. And it's not the miracle of the cross. I want to look at the miracle at the cross. Keep that in mind. As we start, I'm going to start reading at verse 38 in Matthew's Gospel. Then two robbers were crucified with him, one on the right and the other on the left. And those who passed by blasphemed him, wagging their heads and saying, "You who destroyed the temple and built it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from that cross." Likewise, the chief priests, also mocking with the scribes and the elders, said, "He saved others. Himself can he not save? If he is the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God. Let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God." Even the robbers who crucified with him revealed him with the same sayings. These are the words for the God of God, the people of God. Let's pray. Father, this is your words, wrote out of your book, here in your house, for your people. And obviously, Lord, I am the weakest link in that chain. Father, I pray that you would use me this morning to share your heart and your desire with your people. In the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Each gospel told us, 3 of the gospels told this same story. And every one of them was a little bit different, but they're basically the same. And in prior verses it said that Lazarus, they wanted to kill him too. Because Lazarus was going around and showing people that he was alive. So we're reading these verses here. Did they want, my thing is, did they want to see a miracle? Is that what this is saying here? Did they want to say, Jesus come down off that cross? Well, they know he's been doing miracles. His reputation went before him. He'd been feeding people with a couple of fish. Lepers had been clean. The blind people, there were several blind people that could actually see.
Yep.
Lazarus was up walking around. What kind of a miracle did they want to see?
Yeah.
Did they really want to see him come down from the cross? It said if he comes down from that cross and saves himself, we will believe. No, they wouldn't. They might have for a little while.
Yeah.
Short while. There you go. Wasn't last long, was it? The miracle at the cross.
Yeah.
They didn't. Maybe they did want a miracle. Maybe they did know that Lazarus was out walking around. Maybe they had talked to the blind people. Maybe they talked to some of the lepers that was clean. Maybe some would have seen and believed. Kind of doubt it. See, miracles happens every single day, and we get to where we don't pay attention to them.
That's right. Yeah.
Sometimes, my wife, she's snuck in here, so I'll have to be truthful. Can't lie on her and her sitting in here. She'll look at the sky and she'll say, ain't that a miracle? It'll be red and color, rainbows. She loves rainbows. Talks about rainbows. Oh, look at the miracle. Me, I'm like, yeah, you know, they'll build on it. It's a miracle. See, I've got accustomed to the miracles, so now they're not miracles anymore.
Right. Yeah.
You can bet your mom know the first time old Noah seen the rainbow, he thought it was a miracle.
Yes, amen. Yeah.
He didn't let go. Another one that I thought of as this message kind of run around in my head, the miracle of last fall, my wife and I got the first grandyoung. And we was in that room and waiting on the youngin', and they come in there, and I'll never forget this, they was pushing her over the cart. I thought, well, I don't need a cart for her. No, she's no bigger than nothing, you know. Probably bigger than a jackrabbit. Don't need a cart. I looked in that little youngin's eyes, and as she was looking at lights and people for the first time, it dawned on me the miracle of life.
Mm-hmm.
That youngin was a true miracle, not just because she's our grandkid, which is a kind of miracle too, but it happens every single day, and we take it for granted.
Yeah, amen. Yeah.
We need to start paying attention to the things that God puts out there for us to look at. And I ain't saying you got to sit around every day and look at the sky and wait for a miracle to happen. But when it happens, notice it. Take note.
Yeah.
If we'll start paying attention to the little miracles that God does each and every day, we'll start paying attention to the big ones showing up when they come, and we'll give them the honor that they get.
Yes, amen.
Now, it's like I told the kids a while ago, too. Sometimes it's a miracle if Walmart, McDonald's gets our drive-through order. Because it's a miracle if you can go back through there again and they get it right the second time. But that's not a miracle. Sometimes to me it should be, but it's not. It's just stuff that happens. In my mind's eye, I need to learn to separate what is a miracle and what just happens. So let's talk about if they really wanted to see a miracle, or did they want to be entertained? You know, there's a lot went on in that culture back in that day, and the entertainment, they wasn't like us. They didn't have cell phones to Facebook and TV. And, they didn't want to be entertained. I didn't say the entertainment's a bad thing, by no means. But entertainment in the wrong way. That's the reason the Romans built that big Colosseum, so that for entertainment. And maybe the emperors just wanted to be entertained by another miracle. Miracles happen every single day. We need to separate out in our mind's eyes, is it a miracle? Is it entertainment? Or is it just something that happens every day? Our Savior does all kinds of things. Each and every day, in each and every heart. I told it to the other church a while ago. Y'all probably know him. Gary Holland, last year, was driving a school bus on Friday and went into intensive care on Sunday. Christmas Day, the doctors give him less than a 5% chance to live. And they told his wife that if he woke up, now that's an if, he probably wouldn't recognize her, and he'd have to be on some kind of machines to keep him going, since his kidneys and everything is shut out. A couple of days later, he woke up. And he knowed Brenda, and he knowed all the youngins. His kidneys went to working.
Yeah.
And the doctors was like,
Amen.
See, that was a miracle,
Yeah.
by no all means. And our church got together and prayed. And when we prayed, I have to say, some of us expected a miracle, and some of us didn't.
Yeah.
But the miracle happened.
Amen.
And as I spoke earlier, I told them, I said, Gary and Brenda will remember their miracle from now on. But we will probably pass over and go on to the next one. If a sinner gets saved by the grace, that is a true miracle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we hear about somebody getting saved, we need to be jumping up and down because
Yeah,
they are in
yeah.
heaven.
Yep, you bet.
We're not. But that is a miracle. And we don't, I'm like, yeah, okay. Held a function at school, and they told me one time how many of the children at that bonfire got saved. Macon County ought to be having a party for all them.
Amen.
And we ought to be giving them kids something that the other kids will say, well, why are they getting to do that? But our churches are failing. I'm failing. But if they wanted to see a miracle, no matter what the desires in their hearts might have been that day, if they wanted to see a miracle, let's go on a trip in our imaginations to what a miracle could have been that day. Now this, I'm just saying this could have happened. By no means am I saying this did happen. Back in the old days, when they was at the temple, they talked about Russ was to tear the temple down and build it back in 3 days, and they thought they was talking about the building of the temple, the big building that was already there. At that temple, depending upon who you was, is how far you got to go inside the temple. If you was a Gentile like me, you had to stay out here with the money changers, I guess. I don't know. But I wouldn't have been allowed to go very far into the temple.
No.
Then the Jewish people themselves, they would have went a little farther into the temple. Since they was a little more holier, they could go to here. Alright? Then your preachers and stuff, they could go, the priests and the scribes and the Pharisees and all that. They could go a little farther. They could go into another section, chamber, or whatever you want us to call it. They could go a little farther into the temple. But in the middle of the temple was the Holy of Holies. And now, but one time a year, one time only, the chief priest would have to go through a cleansing ceremony. And when he went through the proper ceremony, and it took a while, ain't something they just sat down and prayed over and chunked you in there. When he got through these cleansing ceremonies, which would take sometime 2 weeks or so, I do believe, he would get to enter the Holy of Holies. But before he went into the Holy of Holies, behind it, it was a curtain. The Bible tells us about the curtain. A veil, it's called. They would tie a rope around one leg and let the other end hang out. And on the other leg, they'd tie what I'd call a cowbell on it. Put a bell on it. And there'd be people standing outside that curtain. And as long as they could hear that bell ringing, they'd know that preacher's all right. That bell quit ringing, they'd take that rope and drag him out. Because nobody else could enter and go in there to get him. You see, in the Holy of Holies, there couldn't be no blemishes, no nothing. One of the questions that pops up in my mind was, how many skeletons is laying around in there? I really like to know. One of these days, of course, it probably won't matter, but I'd say, Jesus, just how many skeletons was in there? Because they had to start tying a rope on them for a reason.
Yep.
But that's neither here nor there. So, to get into the Holy of Holies took a lot. And they had an escape clause in case you didn't have enough to get there. That way they could drag you out. Or probably an escape clause for them so they couldn't come get you. So the miracle that could have happened on the cross that day, could have, is Jesus could have stepped down off that cross. We know how that he was bloody, he was beaten, he was spit upon. He could have stepped down off that cross. There was one disciple there. He could have found the other 10, because at this time there was just 11. And he could have walked down to the temple with his 11 disciples. And if Caiaphas had went to, which was the high priest at that time, he could have went. And they could have started walking through that temple straight to the Holy of Holies. And when Jesus got into the Holy of Holies, as bloody and as stained and as much spit on him as he had, he could have went right on up there and pulled that curtain back and said, "Hi, Dad, I'm home."
Mm-hmm.
And I brought a few friends with me.
Yep.
It's like children coming home. So I've got a few friends with me. And they could have every one walked right on in there.
Yeah.
You see, it was a clean heart,
Mm-hmm.
not a clean body.
Yeah.
But the true miracle that happened that day on Calvary's mountain was that Christ stayed on that cross.
Yes, amen.
And not only did he stay on that cross, he stayed on it till death,
Mm-hmm.
till his work was completed. And as you read about his death at that time, it says the clouds got dark and it was an earthquake. And it says in there, the Bible tells us that during that earthquake and when Jesus died, that veil that he could have walked around split from the top to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a piece of information each and every one of us needs to really remember.
Yep.
Because I believe in my mind's eyes, it might have happened a little bit like this. When Jesus died on that cross, he ascended into heaven. He sat down at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. And when the veil ripped, he said, "Look at there, Dad. We've worked it to where anybody that believes in me can come right on into the Holy of Holies.
Amen.
There's no longer something there
Yeah.
to separate us from them."
Mm-hmm.
And when you walk into the Holy of Holies, when you come in this church, ain't a one of us got a cowbell tied on us, and ain't a one of us got a rope on us to drag us back out.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the true miracle that happened at the cross that day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, grant you, he went on, and a lot of preachers leaves him hanging on the cross. And we need to always, always, always remember that empty tomb. Because if that tomb wasn't empty, that cross didn't mean nothing anyway.
Yeah.
That's the reason I asked you about if you could pass the test this morning, and you did.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to ask Jim this morning, the miracle that happened that day, it happened for you, it happened for me, it happened for this church.
Yes,
We didn't
amen.
have church the way we had it. That was a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to ask you, have you received that miracle?
Yeah.
Maybe you've received that miracle and, life happened. Hey, ain't got time for that. Lord away. And you've kind of walked away from your faith just a little bit. Maybe not much. Maybe just a step or two right now, Just a little bit. Not enough to really hurt anything. But as you reflect back on that cross, and the miracle that happened on that cross, the miracle of Jesus staying on it, and he stayed on it for you, we need to ask ourselves, are we where we need to be? I said earlier to the other church, We need to hold on to the old rugged cross until we've got splinters in our hands.
Yes,
And they're so bad.
Yeah.
And then we need to look at them and say, ah! And then we need to go to the over to that empty tomb. And stick our hands in that empty tomb for Him. And let Him pull the splinters and the hurts and the pains of life back out of them. Because He done that for you. He done that for me.
Yes, amen.
He done it for each and every person that would accept it.
Yeah.
All you had to do was say, I believe it. You see, if Jesus were to come down off that cross that day and walk around, them fellas, they said they'd see and they'd believe. They wouldn't believe for long.
No.
But that empty tomb and the believer is a bond that can't be broken. And maybe today you've got a couple of them splinters in your hand where you hung on to that cross for a while, but you've walked away from it just a little bit. None of us walks too far away from it, does it? I know there's splinters in my hands. Sometimes they fester up, and if they don't get fixed real quick, they just keep festering, keep festering, keep festering. It gets worse and worse. And I have to go back to the altar and say, here's my hands, Lord. Would you pull some of that earth out of them? Put a little of your holy back in them where I can use them for you?
Yeah.
I asked you this morning as we get ready to close. We're going to sing the old rugged cross. And I want you to think about your hands. See if there's an earthly splinter stuck somewhere. May need to get pulled. Maybe Jesus saying, you know, you've done really good. Maybe He's patting you on the back this morning. But I guarantee He's got something bigger in store for you if you'll just let Him. As we sing the old rugged cross,
Oh, yeah, 504.
504, there you go. Where's that another hymn? I want us to look at our hands and look at our hearts. If anything needs to be fixed, I'll promise you, the veil has been ripped from the top down.
Amen.
God done it.
Yep.
And I ain't saying you can't pray in your pew. By no means, I'm not saying that. But if Christ ripped the veil from the top to the bottom to give you access to the throne room of God, if you'll step to this altar, I'll promise you He'll meet you right there.
Amen.
In a more abundant way than you've ever been noticed in your whole life.
Yep.
If there's a splinter in your hand, you will need pulled. Come, let's get it pulled. Let's work the earth back out of us, so to speak. 504. Let's stand up.
Where
Receive the benediction. Dear precious Jesus, you gave everything, and then you turned around and gave it to us. Help us to realize the miracles that you gave us, and especially the miracle of salvation, Lord. Father, help us to take up that into a darkening world, the loving light that you gave us. In the precious name of Jesus. Amen.